You have a discussion board that you have to do, and you have the final exam. So once you get this paper's due next Monday, but we're gonna do peer revision on Wednesday, and then you can turn it in whenever. The earlier you turn it in, the better off you're gonna be, because that helps me out. There we go. Will it let me put it into, no, it won't let me do it. Okay, forget that, cancel. Gonna have to make some changes, I can already tell, but, yes, I did. Yeah, really, our final exam is worth, there's two sections to it. One's this discussion board. There's not really, you don't discuss, you just, it's an easy way for me to grade what you're doing, okay? It's worth 75 points, so.
And when's that due?
That's due December 10th, which is the Friday,
And what's the
of next week.
what's the other part?
What you're gonna do is, you're going to go back and you're gonna write just a brief summary about each of your major writing assignments. And so you're gonna have 3 sections. That's why each section's worth 25 points. And you're gonna have to wait until I get the argumentative papers to do to write that one, okay? So you're gonna write, what was the assignment for the descriptive, the narrative? Why did I write descriptive on it? See, that's wrong, it should be narrative. And then, you'll write about the narrative essay, you'll write about compare and contrast, and then you'll write about the argumentation essay / summary. So there's actually 2 parts to that one. And I put descriptive because I don't know why. Maybe I should have done descriptive, might have been better. So, good morning, Matt. So that's what's coming up. So you do that, and that's due the Friday before. I'll probably extend it all the way to Sunday, actually. And then on Monday, the final exam's due. So I will be churning out your essays, this section to get done first, because I have to get them done because you have the least amount of time. Everybody else has got a day or two into the next week of final exams. So, good morning. Yes, woo, we're down to 3 weeks. And the last week is the final, and we're done the first day of finals on Monday, December 13th, so we're down to 15 days, or 5 days of class. That's it. So, and actually, it's kind of quirky. I'm trying to get everything set up so that it's good to go. Let's just phrase it that way. Good morning. So, but what we're going to do today, because this week is devoted to finishing up that argumentation essay. So, just got to. Just thought I'd try to get a couple of things done. All right. So, let me do this. I'm actually putting in, you have this discussion board you're going to be doing. Then it's due the end of week 15, discussion board. I'm just trying to do this. Select the discussion board. That's going to be, okay. And so part of what's involved in that, it's a two-part essay. It's a two-part final exam. You have what's called a reflective discussion board that you're going to do, but you're not going to respond to anybody else. All you're going to do, I'm going to open up right now. Okay, so you can see it. And I'll have to show yours because I don't have it set up anybody else. In week 15, it's going to show you reflective discussion board, research for your final exam. Because I'm doing this metacognitive thing, I've done it forever. And it allows you to get some more words in. But basically what this says is that you're going to create a thread that will have 3 sections or paragraphs, one for each of the essays written this semester, which is the narrative, the compare and contrast, and then the argumentation/summary. So in that section, you'll have to write about what was the summary, how'd you do on it, and the argumentation. And what it says there, you must give what the assignment was, what you wrote about, what errors there were in organization or not, proofreading errors, and the paragraph section should end with what you learned. Did you learn anything from the assignment? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So that's one reason why I have the summary now moved into the argumentative essay, to help out with that, okay? So you'll just go in and you'll create a discussion board. And I'll just make one for me to start it off. And this is going to be, I'm just going to go, my essays. And just for my benefit, when you're up here, it tells you at the top of the discussion board, it reminds you what it's about. So I, personally, if I were you guys, the first thing I would do is I would go narrative and skip some spaces and go compare and contrast. And then I would go argumentative/summary. Okay? And then I would just go in and answer those questions. That's all you have to do, which means I hope you hung on to your essays. Don't ask me for an essay, because I've given them back to your facilitators. So you don't ever throw away anything that you get in a college class in the semester. I'm just telling you, you should. Did you not keep them all? Okay, all right, just checking. That's what you do. You hang on to whatever you get in the semester, okay? And then don't submit, if say, you're waiting for me to get your argumentative essay back to you. You can already get the summary part section of that one written. But if you're waiting, just go save draft. And that will save it, okay? So when you go back in, I can see, and what happens occasionally is something over here gets, in display gets, kind of wacky. So if it does show all, you go over to display and look for show all. And you can always go back in, my essays draft, and you can say edit, and then it'll pull up the section. It's that easy to do. So if you ever get in there and you're having issues, don't send me a course message, please. Go to YouTube and say, how do I get back to a draft in Blackboard? How do I get to my draft in Blackboard if I can't see it? Go look it up. Don't wait for me to give you an answer. Because, if you sent me messages over the break, I probably didn't read them until yesterday, because I finally finished that enormous class that I have. 94 character analysis. I'm going to have to change that assignment next year. I can't. That was too much. But anyway, that's how you can do it. So that's the first part. So that's research for the final exam, okay? So I'm just going to click Save Draft again, just to give you an idea. Fill out those sections. You can go ahead and do narrative. You can go ahead and do compare and contrast. You can go ahead and do summary. All you have to wait on is for me to grade your argumentation essays. This section gets graded first. My biggest section. They're due next Monday night is when they're due. I'm giving you as long as I possibly can. There are some instructors, I'm not kidding you, they have essays, argumentation essays due the week of finals. I'm like, oh, that would be unbelievable. I've got to have time graded because I do this as my final. So, so you can work on this. It's available to you right now, okay? So you can work on this up ahead of time. Then your final exam is going to show up in week 16. I just put it in there. Let's see. Oh, I'm in discussion board, sorry. So go down to week 16, and you will have access to your final exam, which basically just says you're going to write a reflective essay that requires you to look back on the semester and see how you have evolved as a writer. And if you didn't evolve, tell me that, okay? I'm gonna sit there and think about your grades and go, yeah, you didn't learn any, that's what I'm gonna think, but it's another essay. So you should consider what kind of writer you were at the beginning, examine the assignment, which assignments impacted you. You don't have to do every single one, you can just do the ones that impacted you. What was the most important lesson you gained from the course? It's amazing how often people give me the same lesson they learn, okay? That's what's interesting. You can have I in it because you are writing about yourself, but no just and no, I hate the word just. I hate that word. It gets used too often. And no you. It should contain at least 3 paragraphs consisting of an introduction with thesis, body, and a conclusion. But it should be no more than 2 pages long, okay? And that's all that says. And that's worth 100 points. And this is an essay. It's not due until 10 o'clock on Monday, December 13th. Okay, so I'm telling you way ahead of time, aren't I, about what your final exam is. You've got plenty of time to work on it. But finish the argumentation essay first, because that's very important, all right? So that's what's going on. I just thought I better get that done. I've been procrastinating on that, trying to get those essays done. And let me tell you, if you write more than 2 pages, I'm going to be upset. I read that essay of 2,300 plus words, and it was a minimum of 500. And I kept saying, this is too much, this is too much. She repeated and repeated her point. She proved it. She tried to prove it times. Wasn't successful, okay? So now let's see. You should have a copy of a sample argumentation essay. I thought we could go over that and talk about how to enter quotes and how to do the works cited. And let me open up that. I was racing around putting it in a PDF so that I could write on it, since for some reason I can't do that in Word anymore. Because I pulled out an essay that got a decent grade and selected it. And really, strangely enough, this is going to be a benefit because I do have a couple of people writing on this topic. Okay? But we're just going to go over it. All right, so this is any student. So you're going to see the headings there. You notice there's not a header, and I don't need page numbers, okay? You don't have to do page numbers. Because what happens is, in Word, it defaults to a different font, so most of you write in Times New Roman, and as a result, you have different fonts up there in your thing. So you don't worry about putting your name and the page number. I'm not one of those picky kind of instructors about that, okay? So I'm not concerned about it. Here's a title, and look how it's not a question. It's a statement. Video games do not cause violent behavior. I know exactly how they stand on the issue. And one of the things that I noticed on your rough outlines, those of you who turned it in, and not many in this group did, I'm just letting y'all know, only one of you, okay? So you're behind, because if you have your rough outline, you've got a draft of the paper, I'll tell you. All you have to do is get it typed up for Wednesday, okay? So thesis statements are one sentence. The death penalty should be is ineffective because blank, 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 blank. I got so many. I believe the death penalty is not effective. And then they give me 3 sentences with their 3 reasons. It should be 1 sentence. There should not be any first person. I know it's your opinion, okay? Don't tell me it's your opinion. And don't refer to yourself whatsoever in this essay. It's a formal academic document. And I can't tell you how many of my late papers I got from that sophomore class that had first person and second person in them, because they were writing it a couple of days after it was due. So don't procrastinate, okay? All right, so violent video games. Hold on. We'll just do this in green because that's a good color. Okay. All right. So at this point, it is an American tradition to blame media for acts of violence and bad behavior. That's not a bad sentence. Americans once blamed novels, television, and rock music for violent behavior, and now the new scapegoat is video games. An understanding of the rating system that goes through, the effect other people can have while playing a game, and the personality of the individual are all important factors that prove that video games do not create violent behavior. So I can tell you, so the first section is going to be about the video game rating. That's your A section. The B is the effect other people. You know, if you've ever listened to anybody play multiplayer games online and they're talking and you have those 12-year-old boys cussing, it's hilarious. You know, but that does happen. I don't play, but I've listened to my son when he plays. Okay, so there's your A, B, and C points. So as a reader, A should be about the rating system, should be the next topic, should be the topic in the next sentence. The rating of a video game is a critical factor. Yes, that's exactly what it should be. Good job. Similar to the rating systems for television shows and movies, the rating system for video games shows the recommended age for the player. While there are many rating systems across the world, the one used in the U.S. is the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB for short. That's how you do that. Every time after that, you can use ERSB, okay? The ESRB was created in 1994 due to the growing concern of violence and profanity in video games. The ratings in the ESRB can draw many parallels to the MPAA, which is the Motion Picture Association of America, which is the rating system used for movies. The M rating used by the ESRB is similar to the R rating used by the MPAA. This aspect shows that M-rated games are not recommended for children in the same way that R-rated movies are not recommended for children. Game stores do not allow children under the age of 17 to purchase M-rated games. So how do children gain access to M-rated games? Okay, I'm not crazy that there's a question in there. I might have phrased, but some children gain access to M-rated games, and through their parents, parental neglect. Think about it. Or parents go out and buy their kids, but what's that one that's about where you run down the Grand Theft Auto? Is that the one where you run over the prostitutes in your car and kill them? Yeah, that's not good behavior teaching, is it? Okay, so now what we've got is our first quote, as stated by Eric Kane in his article, "Violent video games do not cause violence." Please look at that, guys. See what's there? There's the author. Here, it tells me it's an article, and it's got quotation marks around it. And inside those closing quotes right there, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, actually. Okay? Inside those closing quotation marks is the comma. That's just a long, basically, phrase is what it is. And then we have the quote, "Parents should think deliberately about purchasing these games for their kids." Sorry. Better still, they should be involved in the games their kids play as much as possible so that they know firsthand whether the actions and images they're allowing their children to consume are appropriate or not. Okay, end of the quote. See how there's the quotation marks in? Do I need to make it a little bit bigger? I can't. You should be seeing this. You should have a copy. There's no closing punctuation inside those. There's no period, no way to end a sentence. It always comes after parenthetical reference, okay? And so I know the author. So I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to slide down to the works cited. This is what I do as I grade your papers. And I can see, there's Eric Kane. There it is. It tells me got it from opposing viewpoints. Okay, all right. I'm looking here and I can see right now a viewpoint. And I can see here's another one from aggressive behavior. That is not from one of the databases, is it? But there's two from the SPC database, so this person is good to go. They have the possibility of making an A. So, and normally I'll kind of check. You don't underline works cited. Okay, that's wrong. Okay. So I'm going to go back up to that paragraph. Okay. All right. And he noticed how the individual, I don't even remember, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, I'll probably just say he out of habit. But they don't end the paragraph quote. They go and explain it. Overall, the rating of a game plays a crucial role in the type of content that is presented in the game, and parents have to pay attention to that rating. Okay? Now we've got the second one. Other people can have a drastic effect on an individual while playing a game. That sure is B. I remember that's what that topic was. Violent games can be, so I'm going straight back to it. You can change the words a little bit, but make sure they're clearly, it's a clear, direct association between the topic sentence and the point in the thesis. I had a lot of those students in that sophomore class writing their character analysis, and they'd have a 3-point thesis, but their topic sentences bore no relationship to those points. So that's one, I don't know, well actually I do know they were probably taught it, but just forgot it, okay? And you've been taught it. That's the point of this semester, is that you get organization. So violent games can first be introduced to an individual through another person. The type of reaction to longitudinal effects of exposure, the type of reaction to violent games can be influenced by other people's reactions as well. In Friendly Fire, longitudinal effects of exposure to violent video games on aggressive behavior in adolescent friendship dyads. That's a very technical one, I can tell you. The authors state, and notice it says the authors. I'll be checking that later on. We emphasize that peers play an important role in enhancing the effects of exposure to violent games, in particular for adolescents, and that the social context in which games are played is an important avenue for future research. And it says Verheyen et al. That tells me if I go to the works cited, I'm going to see Verheyen and the words either et al. Or at least two other authors. So I'm going to scroll down there and go look at that one. That was the last one. And I see it's Geert P. Verheyen et al. So that is correct. That's why you can't just say the author, or you can't just choose. If you've got an et al. After it, you always have to talk about authors in the plural, okay? We'll go back up there to that. Gotta make sure which paragraph I'm in. Here we go. All right, this essentially means that others' involvement is what creates aggressive behavior and not video games. You know how you egg each other on? Ever been somewhere and somebody says, you do this, and then the behavior gets worse and worse because people are, pushing each other on? What was I? Oh, okay. I was playing a video game, and in the video game, I play Hogwarts Mystery, okay? And there's what can I say? I'm in my 7th year, thank God, I'm about done. I've been playing it for like 4 years. It's driving me crazy. I want to get it done with. But in the game, the individuals are dueling each other, and they get really mean and hurt each other. And so that's what they're saying here is that, that it's not the game that's violent, it's the attitudes of the players that make it violent, more violent. The authors back up this claim by stating, at the time, no support was found for direct, actor effect of violent gaming on aggression. And so we have that quote again. You can see it's got the quotes around it. And overall, the evidence above shows that peers are much more direct in creating violence in the game itself. Okay. Now, one thing you're going to notice about the sample essay is there's no counterarguments because I did not make them write counterarguments. You guys are the first year I've done, so this is new. The most important factor to view is the personality of the individual playing the game. That is the C point. An individual's personality before and after playing a game, it should be is their personality is that. So there's a subject for SV error. I'll just put that there. Are very important variables to weigh. While there has been extensive testing done on the subject, all of these old experiments fall flat in one way or another. An example of this is that scientists conduct experiments that do not accurately reflect real-world scenarios. Cheryl K. Olson finds that experimental settings are not only artificial, but turn gameplay into game work. This statement shows that the majority of older studies are flawed based on how they ran their experimentation. Now, this one doesn't have parenthetical reference in it, and that's acceptable. Do you know why? Because right here, it tells me the author. So I can just scroll down, and I'm going to see Cheryl K. Olson on here. The second one. It's right there. So you don't have to have parenthetical reference if you reference the author's name in the sentence with the quote. There's a lot more in that paragraph. Okay. This statement shows that the majority of older studies are flawed based on how they ran their experimentation. Studies that actually have concrete data have shown that aggressive people are drawn to aggressive games. Olson states, aggressive children may seek out violent games, and violent games may reinforce aggressive behavior. It has also been shown that crime rates have reduced in the past 20 years as the number of video games have greatly increased in that time frame. Kane, now we're going back to that guy earlier, backs this argument by stating a working paper from economists on violence in video games sales published in 2011 found that higher rates of violent video game sales in fact correlated with a decrease in crimes, especially violent crimes. Once again, there's your author, so you don't have to have the parenthetical reference. The evidence listed above shows that aggressive people enjoy violent games as a way to release aggression. Interesting point. The information proves that video games were not to blame and actually improved behavior. There is no concrete data that explicitly states that video games create increased aggression. Ratings for games are in place to ensure that the consumer can personally consider violence within a game. Peers have a more direct effect on aggression than video games do. Aggressive people are naturally drawn to violent games as a way to release aggression. All of these factors show that video games do not negatively affect behavior. They are simply the scapegoat to blame bigger problems on. So that almost sounded like a counter argument in a way, didn't it, too? But that was the conclusion. So that was probably a low A, at a guess. And why are you going like that, J.C.?
Cause I thought that was pretty good, mine was good.
Well, I only mentioned one grammar and punctuation error, okay? There might have been more because didn't want to stop and do that. So, you know, at the worst, it was a low A, let me phrase it that way, okay? So, but you can see that was, let me see. Trying to think how many words that was. Should give me, when it opens it up, it does something funky. I don't get a word count. Oh, at a guess, that's probably about 750 words, maybe, okay? It's close to, hold on, when you turn over, it's 2 3/4 pages long, so it's probably about 700, okay? Yours is a minimum of 6. Make sure you do a good job, okay? Let's see, trying to think. So if you'll note, the author of this paper did no paraphrasing, and that's acceptable. But I would recommend that if you've got a bunch of statistics, if you're going to, because a lot of people, I have several who are writing on about celebrities or athletes being overpaid. If you're going to give me those numbers, you don't have to quote that sentence directly. You can just say, so-and-so reported in his article that the average athlete gets blah, 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 blah. So you can kind of put that in your own words if you're going to give me, but you have to credit the source. If you give me numbers, you have to credit the source, okay? So, I recommend you go in and you look at my comments on your rough outlines, okay? And the main thing I say is thesis should be one sentence, no first person, because I saw I's in there all the time. And Scotland, it was good to see your mom, so. I went to a wedding for a former student that her brother served as a groomsman, so, you know. I partied on Saturday night. Not me, my daughter did, I didn't, so. Have you got any questions? Okay, on Wednesday, we're going to be doing peer revision. So you have a draft due tomorrow by midnight. You need to bring a copy. If you don't bring a copy, I can print them for you, okay, in here. But we will be doing peer revision. You'll need to do 2 documents, okay? So that went quick. That's what I have for today. So if you need time to work, please work. If you need to work on that rough outline that you didn't get into me, get it into me, okay? I'll probably will take 35 minutes to go over it in the other classes, most likely. Isn't that strange? The only other thing I need to mention is if you, because in the semester we have 275 plus. We've got the argumentation essay, which is 100, the final exam's 100, that discussion board 75, plus you have peer revision 25. And actually, when you do peer revision and the draft this time, you're getting an extra 25 points. I'm giving you 50 on this to try to help out. So there's actually 300 points left. If you can add 300 points to your point total and you don't hit 600 or 700, you need to drop the class. And Friday's the last day to drop the class. Okay? Just telling you. So, yeah, that's it. Okay? Wow. I'm going to go ahead and set this up in the final exam and stuff up in my other classes now. Or if you've got questions, holler at me. Okay, I'll make this smaller. No, I can't copy it. Okay. All right. Also, if you haven't registered, you need to register in this class, because I think I'm missing quite a few kids. Mhm. Yes, yeah, I'll be in my office. I'm not till 11, okay? Yeah, oh, yeah, if I'm not there, I've run to the bathroom or I'm copying something, but I'll be back quickly, okay? Mhm. Where did I put it? When did I put that in? No. Just put it in the wrong thing. Okay. Need to move. There we go. Wait, 15. Submit. Okay. That was strange. Oh, there it is. Hey, Abernathy, congratulations on your win. I was paying attention to that, yeah. How's it going, Crosbyton? Hmm? Okay. Oh, and you have the final grammar quiz, I forgot about that.
Your conference is scheduled to end in 2 minutes.